So we've had a really useful discussion about the experience of blind coders and blind math students and the various devices and problems that are involved. And I've picked up a number of topics that I think are worth discussing further, but we won't have time to do them all. The first, in no particular order, is ANSI escape sequences, which is the colored text that screen readers miss, but which sighted people highlights the important things. It's like the squiggly red lines that you get in for spelling errors. And it might be possible to program screen readers to understand these ANSI escape sequences and do the right thing. So that's the first thing. The second thing is VS Code and the LaTeX package for VS Code. That seems to be a candidate for being the best accessible IDE for many people with visual impairments who want to write LaTeX documents. So getting LaTeX and VS Code working well. The next thing is communication with software producers, whether they're Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, or closer to home and perhaps more relevant to us, the LaTeX project and the authors of LaTeX packages. A LaTeX package to produce accessible outputs when it becomes possible will have to follow rules. And so there has to be some mediation between blind users of the outputs of tech and the people that create the style files. There's the BeMyEyes package or application, which links providers to people who've got problems. And there's been much enthusiasm for having something like that for LaTeX. And that's something that we can suggest to all sorts of people. It sounds like a brilliant idea. You know, I've got this LaTeX problem, or I can't read this piece of mathematics. Can you help me? So that's something we can discuss. This is a personal aside, which is there's talk about accessible images. When I ran the MathTran project, which produced PNG images of equations on demand, it took care to put inside the image the LaTeX source and also the DVI output. So everything you needed to recreate that image was there. And if you had the right software, you could actually scale the image and turn it into an SVG because you had the DVI. So trying to get accessible images through special metadata stored inside images is something that ought to be possible. And a final topic, which I think is a deep topic and we probably won't have time for, but the mental model that people form that's so important when you're reading and writing code must have some sort of similarity with the mental models you have with mathematics. I mean, it will depend, of course, on the programming language you use, but the ability to communicate a mental model to somebody who has sight is easy. You can draw a diagram, for example. Whereas if the person doesn't have sight, then perhaps other methods have to be used. So those are topics